What's up guys, welcome back to the studio. Today we're working on a super cool spray paint stencil project. I'm going to walk you step by step through the process, which is pretty easy and a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoy. Let's get started. First we'll start with our source image. If the image you're using isn't an image that you made yourself, you want to change it enough to make it your own, which I'm going to do with a basic photo editing software. Now we need to get our image onto our cutting surface. The easiest way to do this with the stencil is to use a projector. This helps you get a feel for the size and the placement of your object. If you don't have a projector, you can use something like carbon paper or tracing paper. The key to this step is isolating the portions that will be removed, which will be where the paint hits, and the portions that will remain, which will block the paint and preserve the color that is underneath. After the stencil is drawn, we're going to sketch out the silhouette that will be used to protect the stencil during the splatter portion of our project. You'll need to tape another piece of poster board the exact same size over the stencil, lined up directly over the first piece. This is critical to get the proper registration when you go to paint off everything. Now we're ready to prepare our paint surface. I've taped off the border of our 22 by 28 inch piece of poster board, and I'm going to lay down a light coat to begin with, also known as a tack coat, which will help prevent drips and give us a nice even surface. But first we need to shake up our paint. Once you've let your tack coat dry at least 15 minutes, you can apply your next layer of paint. You can apply a third layer of paint if necessary. Just make sure you're not putting too much paint and that you're avoiding any drips. Next, we'll cut out our stencil with an X-Acto. This step requires a lot of focus and can take several hours to complete depending on the level of detail in the stencil. My best advice is to take your time and move the stencil around so the cut you're making is in a comfortable position. Make sure you're always using a sharp blade so you won't need to apply too much pressure. And as always guys, make certain never to cut toward yourself. After cutting out the stencil, you need to apply something to the back to help it stick close to the painting surface. I'm using small bits of painter's tape, but you can use any type of adhesive that won't disturb the base layer of paint you're trying to protect. You can also place the painting on a protected table and weigh the stencil down from the top, spraying it off horizontally. With the painter's tape attached to the back of the stencil, we can now apply it to the painting surface. We want to get to painting right away after this. Once your stencil is totally dry and you have your silhouette cut out, you can position the silhouette over the stencil to protect your work. Then you can begin the splatter portion of the painting. The technique I'm using here is to barely depress the cap so paint starts to sputter at the very tip. This will give you nice small droplets for a few seconds, then the paint will begin to puddle at the cap. Once it's puddled a bit, I like to fling this paint on the surface, which creates an elongated splatter pattern. I also like to spray a bit of paint into the lid of the spray paint can, which creates a very large splatter pattern. The mixture of these techniques can create a really gorgeous effect. It's very easy to go overboard, so remember to be subtle. Less is always more at this step. Well, there you have it. You've seen each step in the stencil making process, so I hope you guys will go out and have fun making your own stencils. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and drop a comment on which stencil I should make next. Make sure to subscribe to the channel as well so you know when our next video is posted. We'll see you on the next project.